screaming and fair, pointing fingers at the world, but the fault's right there. Thought you was untouchable, living in your bubble. Now you crying like a punk, cause your life full of trouble. Cry liberal, cry, wipe them tears from your eyes. Celebrated death, now your job's in demise. Ain't no sympathy here, it's the West Coast cold. You reap what you sow, now you stuck in the cold. Cry liberal, cry, ain't no saving you now. Tried to play the tough guy, but you folding like a cow. This the game that you chose, now you paying the toll. West Coast truth hitting hard to your soul. Keyboard warriors typing hate in the dark. When the light hit your face, you ain't got no spark.
You already know what it is, man. We back here to serve some more game on the ground for them hungry hounds that just got up the pounder and ready for the next round. With that being said, my bad, y'all. I forgot what I was saying for a second. But with that being said, y'all can see the title of this episode, this live, whatever you want to call it. Candace Owens' investigation on the Charlie Kirk assassination. I want to start this off. Couple of different things. First of all, number one being your boy Jimmy Kimmel got his show taken off the air for good reason, because he's spreading lies like he always fucking does. So good job. Now y'all motherfuckers know what it's like with cancel culture. Now y'all motherfuckers know what it's like to be canceled. And I don't want to hear shit from y'all crying about nothing about being canceled. The motherfucker spoke out about transgenders, guess what? They got canceled. Now y'all are getting fucking canceled for saying some shit about somebody who died. Good. I'm glad you experienced your own taste of your medicine. So with that being said, another thing I want to start off by saying is I'll give you a little bit of game real quick. Some people will play a facade until they get what they want. Some people play a facade until they get what they want. Meaning they wear a mask, masquerading to be a certain way, a certain person with certain values, certain viewpoints, or whatever, until they achieve what they want. Once they achieve what they want, then the real them comes out, and you see that ain't a motherfucker that you want around. And that's 100% facts. That's 100% facts. And once you see that, cut them off real quick. Cut them off. When you see the real person come out, no, sir. The mask done came off, and there ain't nobody that you should have around them. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get on with this, man. Y'all came here to see Candace Owens. I came here to see Candace Owens as well. So let's go ahead and get this pulled on up here, and we're going to change this fucking layout real quick. All right, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this, man, in 3, 2, 1.
To get to the truth, having that gut instinct that something is not right. So we've been wondering yesterday, I was also doing an Instagram series of pulling everybody into what doesn't make sense about the changing of the clothes that Tyler Robinson allegedly did. And we've been wondering why it seems the feds were only willing to release a grainy image of Tyler Robinson from the day of the shooting, despite the tech stack that UVU campus has, right? There's no images that we can see that have been released of his Dodge Challenger that's supposed to be idling nearby the campus for a very long time, right? If he's, as he texted these Fed messages, him and Lance are texting, and he's telling him every second, minute by minute, what he's done. And he mentioned that the cops have done a sweep. Remember, Tyler is supposed to be babysitting the gun in that moment, waiting for the right moment to go back and, quote unquote, retrieve his weapon. But he sees and I'm not kidding, quote unquote, squad car. That's what he writes, right? He writes, I can get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. Squad car. Okay, yeah, no. How many times do you call a police car a squad car? Do you want to know who calls it a squad car? Someone on the squad. That's how that works. Yeah, but that's what Tyler writes, squad car. Elsewhere in this correspondence, and by the way, thanks to one of you people who commented on yesterday's episode and pointed this out to me, but elsewhere, Tyler says something that only a woman would say. That's why it didn't flag me as weird when I was reading this, and it flagged me as odd. He says to Lance, allegedly, quote, I worry about Prince. I had to leave it, referring to the rifle, in a bush where I changed outfits. Wait, changed outfits? Somebody commented, men don't say outfits. That's a woman thing. Okay, yeah, that's true. I would say I changed my outfit. A man does not say, you just say you changed clothes. You would not say an outfit. Outfit is very girly. Okay, so is this AI or is this a female Fed that put these messages together? We're not feeling like it's Tyler Robinson, that's for sure. Now, another question we ask is if there is this much available footage, why not to relieve everybody, to make us feel like this is not a federal operation? Why not just release anything to the public? Well, the reason is because according to locals, many of which have emailed me, any of the footage that they had, any footage that they found, they immediately sent over to the feds, and the feds told them that they were not allowed to share it at all. Like there was some risk. If you shared this at all, it's not going to be good for you. Like they are kind of being pressured by the feds not to share things publicly. And that's why I would say 9/10 is beginning to remind me of 9/11, right? The feds sweep through everything to make sure that they have all of the footage so that no one can question the narrative that they put out. It makes me think, how long did it take before they were willing to show us any footage of the alleged giant Boeing plane that hit the Pentagon building? We weren't allowed to see that for a very long time. I think someone actually in Congress had to fight to get any footage released, and you had people that were saying, no, it was a missile. Well, they swept everything nearby. So that's what this is kind of reminding me of, a Fed sweep. They pretend that they want more information, but in reality, they want to make sure that they have all of the information, all of the footage, so that they can control the narrative. Except sometimes things don't go as planned. Because before people realize they have anything, or maybe when they're trying to reach out to the feds, they're texting a friend who texts a friend. And the next thing you know, the whole neighborhood in all of Orem has something. And this is what happened. Something made its way around the entire town and into my tips line repeatedly. It is a very clear image of Tyler Robinson, allegedly taken, I'll say allegedly for safety here, but it's looking right according to my timeline, allegedly taken at 6:38 p.m. at a nearby Dairy Queen. Here is that photo that we can show you. Just take a look at this photo. What is wrong with this picture? A lot is wrong with this picture. First and foremost, 6:38 p.m., you just shot someone. You have gone through great pains to hide your face, to change your outfit. But wait, you didn't fully change your outfit, did you? I'm looking at this photo, and you're wearing jeans, and you're wearing the maroon shirt. Now we have a 50-50 combo of the outfits, and now you're showing your eyes, and you're not fearful at all that you might be recognized. Also, wow, you must have quite the stomach. You don't have a record. Next thing you know, you shoot someone, and you're like, I'm just going to go have a meal. You don't seem to be too shaken or too upset. Something problematic is the location, by the way. We mapped this out. It's about 15 minutes away from the campus at a time when we're told that he's idling by, babysitting the rifle. So you can see, we're showing you, it's about a 17-minute drive away from the campus. So there should be a lot of footage then of this Dodge Challenger driving back and forth. Okay. And like I said, the biggest thing that jumps at me is he looks kind of content there. So he's got to be a full-blown psychopath, wearing half of what the feds told us he was wearing in the morning and half of what the feds told us that he was wearing during the shooting. Okay, so why did he text in this exchange at all and say that he changed outfits? When you just said, I changed my t-shirt, if that's the reality, you just changed your t-shirt and that was enough? Was it just a t-shirt that he changed? The outfit, again, as I sensed yesterday, has always been problematic. I feel the outfit was the Fed mistake. It never made any sense to say that he wore an outfit onto campus, light khaki shorts and a maroon shirt, and then decided to completely change hours later. Because why wouldn't you just change the t-shirt? That actually makes more sense. Every kid wears blue jeans. You don't have to change blue jeans or change out of khaki shorts to avoid detection. That's not going to go, hey, we're stopping you because you're wearing blue jeans. That's not a thing. It would make much more sense if he had just changed his t-shirts. And like I said yesterday, if you were going to change it all, why did you have to leave campus to do that? And should the cameras have caught you either way? You take a totally different route. Again, there's cameras everywhere. So we can now plot this change, this alleged Dairy Queen stop onto our timeline, right?
That's interesting. I wonder, now this is just an idea. This is just a theory. So don't get your panties in a bunch. But I wonder if the CIA assassinated Charlie and used Tyler Robinson as the scapegoat. Because let's not forget, right after the same day when Charlie was killed, they voted to block the Epstein file, the Epstein list release. So I don't necessarily think that it was done by the Jews. Now, there could be a world where I'm wrong on that, but I don't think that it was necessarily done by the Jews. I think it was done by the deep state CIA as cover for when they blocked the Epstein list so that the people wouldn't outrage over that. And I also think what could have happened is, remember, this is just theory. I've been seeing a lot lately of, the Democrats voting to release it, and all but two Republicans voted to block it. Now, if that's the case, they could be trying to, quote unquote, flip the script on that to make the Democrats look good in this situation and the Republicans look bad in this situation. Now, it wouldn't surprise me because both sides are fucked. Both wings of the bird are fucked. So that wouldn't surprise me.
We can see that right
Remember, that's just a theory.
there. We were very accurate when we started getting really serious about looking at a timeline, like a clean timeline. We said the first correspondence that allegedly took place between these two had to have taken place between Tyler and Lance after 6 o'clock p.m. Well, there we go. 6:38 p.m. We get this confirmed photo, or I shouldn't say a confirmed photo, an alleged photo of Tyler Robinson buying food at Dairy Queen off campus on the other side of town. And that's where we can assume, I mean, campus is supposed to be on lockdown. Is this supposed to be a manhunt? That's where we can assume these text messages or around this time where Tyler Robinson is signifying that he's close to the scene of the crime. That's where we should be able to find more footage of his vehicle. Maybe you are a shop along this way near that Dairy Queen, and you should check your footage to see if around this time, 6:38 or else, that you saw a Dodge Challenger go by. Source tells me that they saw him dropping, near this Dairy Queen, that there's a cemetery, and he was dropping clothes into that cemetery. Now, we have not gotten anything from the feds about where the clothing was dropped off, where he changed, nothing. My question then is, what is going on? My suspicion, I maintain, is that there are multiple people that are involved. And after receiving this, that suspicion is growing, okay? Like I said, unless that man is a cold-blooded killer, he just seems to be la-di-da, eating some Dairy Queen, and it's not making sense. Now, there is something that another local told me that the locals are discussing that they believe actually took place, and it rings a lot truer to me, a lot truer than anything that I've heard thus far from the feds. I'm going to tell you that in a moment, but first, I started to sort of hyper-focus on the doorbell cam footage, right? Because that mysteriously made its way to TMZ the morning after Charlie's assassination. Can we actually, what time did that footage make its way? Just so I can take a look. I'm going to go on to day 2 here. When did TMZ release the footage? Well, I don't know exactly the exact day they released the footage. I think it was, their footage said that at 8:07 a.m. TMZ is the first on September 10th. That tells us that there is doorbell cam footage, but I actually want to see when TMZ released it. So can you just put a note for me, Skylar, that I want to look up when TMZ announced it? I feel like it was in the morning, okay? And so I started asking myself, like, where did that footage come from, right? We should look into that. Let me just say this right away. As a rule, when a tragedy happens, I don't love the people who have the instinct to immediately speak to the press after a tragedy. What I mean to say is that, imagine you're on campus.
Dude is limping like the dude that jumped off the building. It looks like to be allegedly wearing the same clothes that I can tell from the footage that we've seen of him jumping off of the building.
Somewhere, a shooting happens, students are screaming, they're running, somebody is dead. I feel that a normal person's instinct is to make sure their loved ones are okay in their immediate vicinity, make sure they are okay, obviously, and then to call and alert everyone who would be concerned that you're okay, right? Maybe your mom's texting you, like, you're going to get on the phone first with, like, your mom and dad. You're not going to get on the phone with TMZ. You're not going to you're going to speak to the press first. I don't think so. So it's always a good question when you sense that something is wrong, as I very much sense right now with the Charlie Kirk assassination, to go back and reflect on who opened up to the press with information. Look, if you've been a long-time listener of the show, the mainstream media has been controlled by the CIA since Operation Mockingbird. And so I addressed that question. Who is it that gave the footage to TMZ? Why TMZ? whose instincts would it be to give the footage to TMZ? If you're really just a person living out in Utah, surprised by everything, why are you giving it to like TMZ, which covers celebrity gossip out of Hollywood, right? The New York Post, that's not supposed to be a local paper, a local news source. Why would you hit up the New York Post? Which Utah citizen thought of TMZ first? Was it them or was it the feds? Well, we were able to stalk that. Okay, we were able, because gratefully, one of the individuals who owned the house spoke to a local news station the morning after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. His name, you're going to see, is Erwin Steele. Let's watch that footage of Erwin Steele the next morning.
Kathy Beckel led us to her backyard. She says police searched this area for the suspected gunman and his weapon. Just a few streets over, Erwin Steele was another neighbor who was met with officers in his front yard.
It was scary. It's. I know it's been said many times, but this is a safe place. This is a calm place. We're right next to, the largest university in the state. But at the same time, they're generally good people.
Steele says they're helping authorities by giving them any footage they have on their outdoor cameras. But he says it's still startling to know the gunman could have been so close to their homes.
We have students going up and down the street all day long, and it's never been a threat to our safety. And so for something like this to happen it's shocking. It's really shocking.
Seems like a good guy. I have no beef with him. Immediately, actually, I was wondering, why were we ever told that it was doorbell cam footage? Obviously, it was not doorbell cam footage. It's too high, hence, the height of the footage in general. Secondly, like I said, this clip is from the morning after Charlie Kirk's assassination. So TMZ had already publicized that footage. And so that strikes me as a little odd. That would stipulate that either the feds, like I said, collected that footage the night before and then immediately gave it to TMZ, or this guy himself gave it to TMZ before he gave it to the feds. So we're looking into Erwin, and we find that he doesn't just co-own just that one house on the street with somebody else named Samuel Steele, but Samuel and his wife Carrie are the ones that own the house that gave the footage, not Erwin. But Erwin is saying that he lives in that house, but actually we found some other Steeles that live in that house. And I'm wondering, okay, that seems a little bit confusing. Maybe you're all family. You just go, oh, okay, well, we kind of own all of these houses, whatever. But that strikes me as a little bit odd. I decided to look a little bit further to see like what it was that he was in, like, what business is your family in? And it turns out that they work for an engineering place, a place that makes called Caldera Engineering. It's a company called Caldera Engineering, and ostensibly they manufacture valves. Okay. Now, that stood out to me because I just find that the manufacturing of valves keeps coming up when I look into certain people, because, I'm all about the genealogy. And I could name 3 people that I got curious about whose family manufactures valves. I don't know if that's a big business out in Utah. Also in Canada, when I was looking into Harley Pasternak, that's exactly what his family did. They were in piping and valves. And I'm going, okay, whatever. A local source told me that virtually everyone on that block works for that company. The Steeles are a big family in Orem. Okay, fine. And it's like, yeah, that's something that our source, we have a very good source, said that whole block is pretty much employees of that engineering company, Caldera. Okay, just put that in the back of my mind. Looking for some other witnesses. I decided witnesses pertaining to Tyler Robinson. We have a second witness, and her account is kind of confusing to me, and I'm going to tell you why. First and foremost, her last name also happens to be Steele.
Yeah.
This one witnessed something 4 hours away. Her name is Sherry Steele, and she spoke to the BBC about how she had witnessed the police swarm the townhouse of Tyler Robinson and Lance while she was walking her dog in the evening. Here is what she says. I'm going to read it directly here from the article. This is from the article. It reads, Sherry Steele, who lives across the street from the residence, came back from an evening walk to see a large police presence. In a video that she showed the BBC, for some reason the BBC is not publishing this video, a loud voice, which she said belongs to the authorities, can be heard shouting, "Freeze!" and "Come out now." It just kind of blows your mind coming up the street, and all of a sudden there are helicopters above your house, Ms. Steele said, adding that she had never spoken to Mr. Robinson. Okay. Couple of things that don't work about the testimony to me. First and foremost, doesn't work with my timeline. I really care about my timeline here, okay? She said she's walking her dog in the evening. We are told by the feds, 33 hours should have been nighttime, right? Their 33 hours should have been 9 p.m. Is when Tyler Robinson, that turned himself in. But then we found out from other sources that actually it was more like 7 o'clock p.m., Feds are saying 33 hours. That's 9 o'clock p.m. Certainly wouldn't describe it as an evening walk with your dog at that time. And by the way, at that time, according to our source, they didn't move at all. Okay. We're supposed to believe that it was overnight that they brought in Lance. And then, according to Lance's own family, it was overnight that they, after bringing Lance in around 11 o'clock p.m. ish, right? And then overnight is when they then swarm the household and then go through everything. So what's going on here?
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm losing brain cells because all this shit is confusing as hell. This shit is confusing as hell. I am losing brain cells by the minute.
Second thing about Sherry Steele, I can't find her. We stalked. We looked through databases. We contacted Lance's family to see if they're familiar with that name. I cannot find a woman named Sherry Steele that lives in that building complex, nor can I find her alleged footage that the BBC mentions the following morning. Just putting that out there. But let's move on, because there are going to be 2 more Steeles, this time minor children. We do know, according to the indictment, that there were children that were there for the shooting. And these children, like I said, are going to provide an eyewitness testimony to Charlie Kirk's shooting. And they are with their aunt, Tiffany. And they say that they saw what happened up close. And I believe you're going to hear them say that they were a family of 16. So, like I said, my source says there are a ton of Steeles that are in Orem. Here is what these particular Steeles told Good Morning America in the early hours following Charlie's assassination, like the next day. Take a listen.
We're joined now by Tiffany Barker and her nieces Elle Steele and Mia Grant, who were all in the audience yesterday afternoon. Thank you for joining us this morning. I know it's been a difficult day for all of you right now. Tiffany, let me begin with you. Just tell us what you remember about the scene yesterday.
It was horrific. There was one shot that rang out, and everybody instantly looked around and then fell to the ground. People saw Charlie instantly get shot in the neck, and everybody fell to the ground, and then people started running and got run over. And I was with my family. We had 16 of us there. So 5 adults and like 11 children. And we instantly got separated. We're trying to find everybody. And we had amazing Good Samaritans that grabbed kids. One took my niece and took her to her apartment. Somebody grabbed these 2 and my daughter and took them over to the tennis courts and stayed with them till I came. It was a super awful tragedy. And there were really good people that stood up and supported each other. And it was actually really powerful to see that.
Elle and me, I can't imagine how scared you must have been yesterday. What can you tell us about what you all remember? Elle, you go first.
So I remember hearing this thing. It was hard to know what it was, but then I saw it, and I saw blood everywhere, and it hit his artery, and then I fell to the ground. I covered my head with my hands, and then I just started saying a prayer, and then we all ran. We sprinted away, and we ran away and then we met at the tennis courts, and we couldn't find anyone. It was just me, Mia, and then my other cousin Bella, and then we were calling everyone. We didn't know what to do, and then we finally met up with them, and it was just so scary.
I'm sure. Mia?
I remember that we were 15 feet away, and I thought the shot was a firecracker or something. It just didn't seem real. After that, we went behind where Charlie Kirk was, and then we were meeting up at the tennis courts and trying to find everyone and get everyone together. And Charlie Kirk was such a good guy. I'm gonna miss him so much. I've always watched all of his videos, and
I can't imagine what you all went through.
America's gonna miss Charlie Kirk.
Can't imagine what you went through yesterday. Thanks for sharing your stories this morning.
That's fucking crazy, bro. That is crazy. It is an absolutely damn shame that children had to witness something as such as horrible as this. It is a damn shame that children had to witness this and be present and see somebody get murdered in front of them like that. Especially somebody that they watched and looked up to type shit, That's that's horrible. It's fucking horrible. Those kids are probably going to be in some way, shape, or form scarred for life. Maybe not like deeply, deeply traumatized. But there's going to be some type of trauma, or being scarred, always going to be sitting in the back of your mind.
Okay, so I was just interested in the family more broadly speaking. I can tell you the family is very heavily involved in politics. That woman that you are looking at, her father was a businessman turned councilman. Sister ran for lieutenant governor. They're also featured in another incident. She kind of pops in the news a lot with a mayor. So by all accounts, asking locally, they're a good family. They're heavily involved in politics, but like the right side of politics, as I would say, as somebody who was a conservative. I think that was kind of maybe stripped there, trying to learn more about these individuals. For me personally, I don't love the idea that at this time, the killer is still on the loose. Like, they had nothing at this time. And I'm just going like, who would allow their kids back onto that campus that survived a shooting and to go speak to the news the next day when the killer was still on the loose? But I don't need to, I guess, judge the actions of parents. What I do know is we're not getting the full story. Okay. And I reached out to those individuals, by the way. I asked them to speak with me. I want to learn more about what they witnessed. I want to learn more about what they say that they heard and what they saw, what happened afterward, what the setup there is on UVU campus, what time they went there. I want to know everything because I just spiritually know that more people are involved. Okay. Now let me tell you something about what the locals are theorizing. And like I said, it's the first thing that has made sense to me, okay? They are telling me that something which you will recall, the first people that got out the map of everywhere to look, and this is where the shooter walked, and this is what happened, and, here's our diagram of where everything took place, and he ran to the woods and he grabbed the gun, but we're not really getting too many details about where he got that gun from. We're just kind of told in the woods. And this person tells me, actually, the gun was found in the backyard of someone that I know. We all know each other. And it was found by a chicken coop. Like, you could describe it as a wooded area, but, it's pretty suburban here. And it was found by her chicken coop. The locals are theorizing. Again, we have no proof of this. But this is what they are saying, is that they're not being honest about the fact that the house right next door to where the gun was found is a mysteriously vacant home that is owned by the university itself, and that is where they believe that the true shooter ran to following the assassination of Charlie Kirk. They think, and again, they're floating a theory here, that Tyler Robinson was instructed to merely drop off his gun, okay, walks onto campus to simply drop off his gun at the chicken coop place. So I'm going to show you that. Do we have a map of that vacant property and where the gun location is found? And he says you'd have to be an insider to know that the general direction that person is running, even though they're very close, similarly, would lead him to the vacant home that we've all kind of had questions about. It's kind of been vacant for a while. And actually, where the gun is found, it's just two different places. So his theory is that Tyler Robinson, and this would definitely align with our decoy boy, right? I did it. Oh, actually, it turns out that I have child pornography, is that Tyler and Lance could have gotten mixed up in some deep internet stuff, which makes sense because, as we have learned, Lance is deep on the web, and that they were actually instructed, maybe they're getting out of the situation. Again, we are in full theory zone. I'm telling you what I'm hearing from locals. This is not Candace Owens' theory, but this would make more sense to me, that these were just guys that said, okay, if we found something weird on your camera, or weird on your laptop, here's what you're gonna have to do to get out of this. Maybe they're being blackmailed or threatened, or you're gonna go to prison for a very long time. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take this weapon, you're gonna walk this weapon, and you're gonna leave this weapon right here, okay? And that's it. Then you're gonna busy yourself elsewhere around, and we will tell you what to do next. That's their theory about Tyler Robinson, okay? And that then the real shooter is an entirely different person who actually went into what they would describe to be a safe house of sorts. Putting it out there. And I can tell you that we are now prodding that narrative and asking if you are a person who has any footage and you have been instructed not.
So I can't. Hey, listen, homie, what are you doing here if you don't like Candace Owens? See, that's the problem with y'all. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make sure that you take care of yourself real quick. This is what I'm going to do right here. Put user in timeout. This problem with y'all is that when y'all don't like something, y'all don't know how to turn the channel. Y'all don't know how to turn the change the channel, bro. Change the channel. If you don't like the content, why are you here? You know what I'm saying? It's called common sense, something that a lot of y'all don't have no more. Y'all have TikTok brain rot. That's 100% facts. If you don't like the content, go somewhere else, or I'll send you to the moon myself.
To give any footage whatsoever, I don't know. I can't understand. If you own the property and it's yours, I don't know how they can tell you it's not yours anymore, since don't forget, Governor Cox said it's all wrapped up. It's over. We've got him. Move on. I don't see how you showing us a Dodge Charger that you saw driving by would be problematic. So, yeah. If you know anything, please email tips@candaceowens.com.
But you know what's crazy about that, though, is that kind of what she said, what the locals are saying, low-key kind of lines up with what I said earlier about the CIA being the ones that killed Charlie and using Tyler as a scapegoat. Now, that's just a theory. Like I said, that's just a theory. There's no factual evidence to back it up. It's just an idea. But what she said that the locals said, low-key kind of lines up with that, bro, and that's crazy.
We are going to get to the BB that doth protest too much in just a moment. First, going to throw it to some of our sponsors. Riverbend Ranch, everyone, like I told you, has wanted to do something to try and heal and remember Charlie Kirk. My friends at Riverbend Ranch put together the following tribute to honor him. Take a listen.
We pay tribute to Charlie Kirk, and we celebrate the tremendous good he did in his life. Charlie courageously advocated for the sacred principles of freedom, constructive discourse, truth, family values, and common sense. He taught with humor and wisdom, and backed up his beliefs with data and facts. He set a powerful example of reaching out and talking to those who disagreed with him. We mourn his passing, but what he taught us continues to resonate with even more power.
A message from all of us at Riverbend Ranch.
I actually met the owners of Riverbend Ranch with Charlie. We went out there and met them. Fantastic family. Also want to tell you guys about American Financing, because if you've been living on credit cards just to cover groceries, gas, and bills, you know those interest rates are brutal. So why keep paying that 20% or more to the banks when you could call my friends at American Financing? They have mortgage rates that are in the fives, and they are showing people every day how to keep more of their hard-earned money in their pocket and out of the hands of the credit card companies. Right now, American Financing is helping homeowners save an average of $800 a month by using their home equity to wipe out high interest debt with no upfront fees, no obligation, and just a 10-minute call to a salary-based mortgage consultant. And here's the kicker. If you start today, you could delay 2 mortgage payments, putting even more cash in your hands right away. So do not wait. Call American Financing now, 800-795-1210. That's 800-795-1210. Or visit americanfinancing.net/Owens. That's americanfinancing.net/Owens. Also telling you guys about Field of Greens, because plus year for specific health.
We're going to skip past.
This is another level. Okay, this is like, it's like, there's a thirst there that I've never seen. They are all parroting the same talking points. They're clearly collaborating. I can tell you it's a Zionist attack. I've lived through enough of them. This is what they're like. And they all kind of say the same thing, slightly different. And the idea is to pile up and hope. And if people keep seeing the same thing, they'll just believe it's true. And of course, Bibi Netanyahu, defending Bibi Netanyahu seems to be at the center of it all. That Zionists control a lot of publications in America. That is just a reality. We can even go through that. It's a little weird that I have never said throughout discussing this case, which I care very much about, that Bibi Netanyahu murdered Charlie Kirk. Kirk Carlson never said that. Megyn Kelly never said that. Dave Smith never said that. Instead, what we are doing is we are disputing Bibi Netanyahu's narrative that him and Charlie were on great terms and really friendly and had just invited him out. And here's this love letter Charlie wrote.
That's 100% facts, man. Yeah, you missed it earlier, boy. I went off on these 2 goofballs over here talking about how horrible Candace is while they're sitting here watching Candace. It makes no sense. He said Roger got arrested. That's, hey, when you don't know how to control your emotions, you get stupid prizes, and that's 100% facts. I ain't even surprised.
Heavily implied that, and he was saying way too much, too fast, and too soon. That didn't feel right, and we just wanted the truth to be out there. I don't know who specifically came out and said that Bibi killed Charlie Kirk, but now that he's for the second time denying that he is, people are going, what's actually going on here? This is weird. When Charlie Kirk was assassinated, I didn't feel compelled to come out and make 2 videos to tell people that I didn't kill him. That would be weird. Like, you would be like, Candace, that's very strange. Why do you feel like you need to say that? If Tucker Carlson had to make 2 videos saying I didn't kill Charlie Kirk, you would go, that's weird. Megyn Kelly, I didn't kill Charlie Kirk. Why would she do that? Of course she didn't kill Charlie Kirk. Well, Bibi has come out, like I said, with his second statement, and we can listen to it. Take a listen.
Joseph Goebbels the Nazi propaganda minister, said that the bigger the lie, the faster it will spread. Well, somebody has fabricated a monstrous big lie that Israel had something to do with Charlie Kirk's horrific murder. This is insane. It is false. It is outrageous. Charlie Kirk was a giant, a once-in-a-century talent who defended freedom, defended America, defended our common Judeo-Christian civilization. Charlie loved Israel. He loved the Jewish people. He told me so in a letter that he sent me just a few months ago. One of my greatest joys as a Christian, he said, is advocating for Israel and forming alliances with Jews to protect Judeo-Christian civilization. He encouraged me to make the case directly to the American people about how vital Israel is to U.S. national security. He told me, the Holy Land is so important to my life, it pains me to see support for Israel slip away. Now, if Charlie disagreed with a policy of mine or decision here and there, not only did I not mind, I welcomed it. This is the essence of Charlie. This is the essence of a free country. It's exactly what Charlie stood for. And I knew that his suggestions always came from the heart, from his love for Israel and from his love for the Jewish people. A few weeks before his death, I spoke to Charlie. I invited him to visit Israel again. And sadly, that won't happen. Now some are peddling these disgusting rumors, perhaps out of obsession, perhaps with Qatari funding. What I do know is this: Charlie Kirk was a great man, and a great man deserves honor, not lies. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. May your memory be a blessing.
I don't know, guys. That Israeli propaganda just ain't hitting the same.
I don't know, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I've seen a lot of retards on, the internet saying, "Oh, the Jews did it. The Jews did it." Just immediately, literally within a few hours after Charlie was killed, I've seen people on the internet talking about the Jews did it. So that if Netanyahu seen that, or somebody on his team seen it and told him that, it would make sense as to why he would put out that message. Just saying. Now, there could be a world where I'm wrong, like I said earlier, but that makes more sense to me than him just saying that he didn't kill him for no reason. Somebody had to have told him, or he had to have seen them goofballs on the internet saying that. He said, "Wait till you put your flag up behind you." Oh, I forgot about the flag, but I gotta find it. I gotta find that flag, boy. Put it up right underneath the poster back there. That's crazy. But yeah, man, we're not here to get into all the Jewish conspiracies. We're here to listen to what she had to say about, Tyler Robinson and this investigation going on that she got going. So with that being said, Candace, until next time, when you upload another episode that ain't got no type of Israeli propaganda attached to it, we'll be back. So, all you goofballs in the chat, make sure y'all do what you're supposed to do. Go to the gym. Make sure you definitely shower, because I know a lot of y'all don't even wash your ass crack, let alone wipe after you get done taking a shit because y'all stank. But with that being said, we're going to make sure y'all share with your friends, your families, your mummies, your aunties, your grannies, and everybody else that y'all know. I'm going to play this outro, and we finna get out of here, boy. Hold it. Let me go ahead and take this off. Boom. Boom.
You're really serious and you're looking for a Christ man, the one who anointed with the Lord, with the Spirit of the Lord, to do his will. I'm that nigga.
Motherfucker, because it's my world, and every motherfucking thing in it. That including your asshole, too.
Well, if God send the devil in the name of Jesus by the power of the Holy Spirit, then motherfucker, you fucked up, huh? You fucked up, huh? You know your ass is doomed. What you got to speak? If you don't know shit to speak on this topic I'm bringing up, shut your goddamn ass up.
What do you say, Gerard, you ignorant slut?
I don't think I'm God. I ain't say I think I believe. I know, and if you study the words, you study my book, you will know I'm me too.
You didn't create the heaven and the earth, baby.
But I did. I'm that motherfucker. You know me, don't you?
Hell no, I don't want you.
You don't know me? Then shame on your goddamn ass then. Shit, I'm the motherfucker. Give a fuck what you believe in. Believing you some goddamn Ku Klux Klan members, don't you? And house nigga, bitch-made ass, ninkum fucking poops, monkey-minded, Afrocentric motherfuckers, you wanna call me and tell me your opinion,